Good evening, chat. Hello. It is Tuesday night, and I'm a little stiffly still from my sinus stuff earlier. So I apologize. There might be a couple of mutes tonight because it's not going so well. Hold on one second. All right. Sorry about that. Yes, but welcome, guys. Welcome to the show tonight. We are live on Rumble. We are live on Twitter, and also here on YouTube. So we're going to get to it. If you guys are new, my name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and tonight we've got a little bit of a double feature. This is not going to be the world's longest show tonight, chat, but it is going to come over two topics. So we got some Karen Reed stuff to get into. We also have two fairly recent issues with AI in court, and it's actually, one of them's hilarious, and the other one's just an example of how bad it can get for an attorney. So we're going to get to those. I think we're probably going to work on those going forward. We're probably going to start with Karen Reed because I know it's the big thing. That's kind of like the happening thing. That's the cool thing all the kids want to talk about. We will get into the Karen Reed stuff here in 1 second. Also, why does that still have my name? Hold on 1 second here. Why is... Gonna fix that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that alone. So there we go. We fixed that. But yes, anyways, like I said, guys, my name is Sean. I am an attorney in the Cleveland area. Cleveland, Ohio. If you're like, what are their Clevelands? And I'm like, probably not Cleveland. There's like a Cleveland, Tennessee. And I'm like, I'm not that guy. Not that guy. So anyways, we are going to get started here on Karen Reed. Luke, we're going to cover some of the AI stuff. There's a bunch of AI cases. But these are kind of like two really kind of quick overviews of how this is going, but there's a bunch of them that we're going to get into coming up. And the funny thing is, this keeps happening. And it's mind-boggling that attorneys are using AI. There's no way they can't hear about this stuff happening. And they still keep doing it. Real quick, hold on 1 second. Clyde. I know you guys were sipping for Clyde in the chat before. Come here, bud. Oh, hold on 1 second, chat. I got to move some stuff. He does not want to come on, chat, so we'll worry about that later. Am I going to write a character letter for Clyde when 2.0 yells at him again? Maybe. Clyde GPT. That would be hilarious. All right, guys, so let's get to the Karen Reed stuff. That's kind of the big thing right now. I know a lot of you guys are following it. We have a jury pick. There is a jury picked here for Karen Reed. It's fully done. This is Christina Rex. She's a reporter out in Boston. She's also a law student. Oof. That's combining the best of both worlds. Oof. I mean, geez, you're a law student and you're going to be a lawyer and a reporter. Like, ugh. Just doubling down there. But a full jury's been seated. 9 men, 9 women. So they're going to have 18. So they're going to have 6 alternates. I don't know how. I forget how we're going to pick the alternates. But no, tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning is a motions hearing. And it's going to be the final motions hearing. Opening arguments are next Tuesday. So opening arguments will be on Tuesday because this is Holy Week. And Boston is a very Catholic area. So we're not going to have court Friday. That's going to be an issue. That's the holiday for places too. So Opening statements are next week. There's a motions hearing tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. And I got to double check, but I think I am out and about. So we'll have to catch it up tomorrow. But I should be back by like 4 or so. And my plan after that is we can watch it. So that will be our game plan. Also, can you guys tell me is Rumble up and running? Because I set it up. But yeah, we do not opening statements next week, motion hearing tomorrow. So what are some of the motions are going over? Hold on 1 second. That's because they're godless Protestants up in Minnesota. Well, they're also Somalis now, so the Somalis run everything, and they're, they don't believe in Jesus de Cristo, so it's not a surprise that they're not having court. So, moving on from there. So, yes, Good Friday are big drinking days for the Irish Catholics, as is any other day that ends in Y, of course. Of course. Now, from here, there were a couple of motions that got filed. And this, I think, just shows you Hank Brennan is going to go for fucking broke. And this is going to be I know there's a guy, Rick Schoenstein. He's one of the long crime contributors. He's been on with Bob Motta a couple of times. Guys, shout out Bob Motta at the Defense Diaries podcast. Had a fun time with Bob recently. We need to see if there's a way we could be able to link up during Karen Reed. But yes, this shows you Hank Brennan is coming down a different path than Lally. And Lally in that first case, man, that guy had the personality drywall, and it showed. And from here, well, we are getting into what he's going to do. And it's a notice to introduce extrajudicial statements. Now, what does that mean? Things Karen said outside of court. I mean, is what it says, right, guys? I mean, it's pretty simple, huh? What's an extrajudicial statement? This is an extrajudicial statement. Karen Reed, everything she said is going to be an extrajudicial statement. So all of her we're going to get to this. And why can they introduce it? Because she's a party opponent. And statements of a party opponent are admissible to prove the truth of the matters admitted in them. So in criminal cases, this is true. That's why the state can use your words against you. It's also true in a civil trial. And it can't be excluded on the grounds it's hearsay. So it's, it encompasses any statements made by a party opponent. So any statements that can be introduced. Now, to admit that and to admit Karen Reed's statements, here's where it gets, and this is why it's always important you shut your damn mouth. There's no requirement you have to lay foundation or a witness has to come in and testify to knowledge on the subject. Now, it'll help because you're going to here's Exhibit 5. We submit this. We offer this to the jury. I mean, it's going to help for Karen Reed every time she's done anything. Any of the interviews she's had, bringing somebody from the interview crew. It's like, yeah, I was there when she said this. But that's it. Yep, that's you don't even have to lay foundation, but it helps to lay some foundation. Brimstone, you're saying there's video of the stabbing? Send me a link, dude. Let me see that. If it's out there. And if it's a Rickroll, har. This even applies, though, guys, just so you're aware, to text messages. You just have to make sure you do everything correctly. And then notice what they're going to do. They point out that Karen Reed has made numerous statements to who? She made statements to... she made a bunch of statements to witnesses. Obviously, they're going to use the, I hit him thing. They're going to use that. We already know that. To first responders, yeah. To medical providers, yeah. Family members, yeah. And journalists. That's a big one. And then the recorded statements on John O'Keefe's cell phone. You know, we're going to hear everything. He's going to do everything. These are for her immediate impressions to crafted narrations, sometimes in the presence of counsel, that recount her versions months or years after the murder. So what are they going to do? They're going to use her interviews she had. Guys, I think you saw this when we were on with, we weren't on with them, but the one podcast for their, let me see here. We can find it again. They had the Glare is one of the people doing Karen Reed stuff. They had Karen Reed come on. Guess what? That's all admissible. Everything Karen Reed said, because Karen Reed came on. And it was like one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. They brought her on, and it was their fundraiser. And I think they took it down because I don't see it anymore. But they brought it up. And Karen Reed came on and she was talking, and you're just like, why would you have Karen Reed come on? Why would you have Karen Reed come on? So it didn't make any damn sense. Actually, here it is, guys. If you guys didn't see this, I thought this was a joke when I saw this, but here you go. I did find it. So this is something that happened in a live stream. And notice, the funny thing is, Karen probably got told it's okay to talk about this stuff. And the worst thing of all is, Mark Bedro is the guy up in the top right corner, was gonna be on her defense team. And he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything like, you shouldn't do all this. But no, this is not Turtle Boy affiliate. Like, they're in Boston and they're like Turtle Boy affiliated. Like, they're all on the same team, pro Karen Reed. But these guys are not. Obviously, this isn't Turtle Boy, and the lady's not Turtle Boy. But anyways, here's what Karen Reed did. Here you go.
How are you?
Can you hear me? Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Will. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
Hi,
Love
Esty.
it.
Hi. How's
Have
it
you
going,
ever
guys?
have you ever appeared on a YouTube channel yet?
No.
This is the first one.
I only
What?
got a YouTube account like a year ago.
Okay. Wow, right on. It's so good to see. How you feeling?
Overwhelmed, but not too much more than I felt a year ago, where we were at the same point in time with trial. It's lining up almost exactly. We're like 2 weeks off from start date of last year, which was, I think we started impaneling the jury on April 16th. So we're on the same track. Days are a little longer, temperatures are a little more palatable.
So, I mean, just listen to her. She's just talking.
And I just want to say to everyone listening, and the three people on this screen that I can see right now, and whoever's listening, that I could not be here with more
Oh, she's going through a dead zone there.
experts, more attorneys fighting at the federal level, which is a whole other one.
I forgot there's a point where she's in a tunnel. And guys, I know we covered this back on St. Patrick's Day, I think, at the time. And we're like, what the fuck is she doing? But this is all admissible. Here. Ron is over here. I don't know what's hotter, that overbite or the accent. This Massachusetts accent stuff is just... Gotta work on it. Here.
I'm running on 2 tracks concurrently, state and federal, and facing trial and getting more experts. And I don't know where I said this. I think maybe it was on Ted Daniel, but this is your defense. It's mine, but it's funded by you. You have ownership in this. And we've listened to what everyone has said. We've listened to feedback and tried to weigh it.
No, you didn't listen to feedback because a lot of people have said, don't talk about the frame job. If you start off again when Karen Reed was framed, she's going to lose this time. I've already said that, but we'll keep going.
With, what the attorneys believe was the right approach as we retackle this. And it's a concerted effort. I could not afford any of this. I don't know where I'd be. I wouldn't be here right now. So I can't thank everyone enough. I just can't.
Well, I think I could speak for everybody when we say that we truly believe in you, and it is, and I speak for myself personally when I say that I've never been prouder to be part of something like this, because as much as I hate that you're going through this, I'm grateful to you for this, for you fighting like this and inspiring me to want to support you in this way. And I think everybody feels the same way when it comes to that. But no, you're fine. You're fine. I now yeah, and before you go, I just want you to go ahead and tell everybody who your favorite YouTube channel is. We all know who it is already, but make sure to let everybody know for me. Go ahead.
I love them all for different reasons.
Right, the all of them named Clara. Got it. So
that's a funny thing. She doesn't even know who the fuck she's talking to, except for Turtle Boy.
But no, thank you for everything you're doing, Karen. Seriously. And you've inspired so many people.
That's it. If she come on, she's like, shout out to PPP and Waski, at the casino.
And I am so grateful to be able to have your back in all this, because it is the most powerful thing that I've ever been a part of. And as long as you're in this fight, I'm in it. And I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Thank you. I want everyone to know, in addition to the financial support and the donations, I hate going to court. I never want to go back again after this is over, but it's quite the silver lining to pull up in front of the courthouse and see Kurt Maxon's truck and Dina directing traffic and the Sweeneys with Dennis dressed like the judge. I wish I could go and just hang out with everyone and not go in the building, but they all make it as happy an experience. I don't really want to use that word, but it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet, and I feel like this is what I was put on this planet to do, as begrudging as it is for me. But you all couldn't make it. You couldn't make it any easier if you tried.
So yes, chat, that was a Messiah complex. She's like, I've been put here to suffer. Yes, that's right. Me, Karen Reed, I'm here to suffer. I'm here to suffer. That's what she just did. Now, if you guys didn't know, there is a documentary on I think it's on HBO Max now, or HBO, whatever the thing is. Investigative Discovery. It's called Body in the Snow, and it follows Karen Reed and her team around. And everything Karen Reed says, so those statements could be used. Here's some more statements for Karen Reed.
Is this what you ordered in?
Yes. They only make about 4 decent suits for women that don't make you look like Hillary Rodham Clinton, and I've got them all. So now I'm on to dresses.
Okay, I will say in her defense, she is 100% correct. I do feel bad for women in that regard.
Is that everyone's phones off?
Walking out.
So did you drive your car into John?
I did not drive my car into John. Didn't reverse it. Did not hit John with my car.
Is there any chance this was an accident?
There is 0 chance this was an accident. There was 0 chance John was hit by a vehicle.
You're tired of it. You've spent so much.
No,
No,
I'm not tired of it. I hate answering it because I feel like.
Now, if I'm the prosecutor, it's like I hate answering it, and he might just leave it there. You know, I mean, that's also the funny thing. Karen has such weird facial pauses, but it's like I hate answering it. So, yeah.
I'm being so scrutinized. Like, did she blink 3 times or twice? And did she like smirk or look to the right or down and up and left and whatever? And like, it just feels so fake, even though it's true. I rather like explain everything else. And like, I did not hit John with my car. Like, I can't make it sincere enough. I hate saying it.
Notice if I'm the prosecutor, I would send that. I hate saying that I didn't hit him with my car. Notice now what can she do? Like, she's smiling and she's like, I didn't hit John my car. I hate saying that. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean she says, I hate having to explain this? Or I hate having to tell everybody the lie that I hit John with my car? If I'm the prosecutor, guess which way I'm running with that? Once again, anything you say can... I'll do the black lady clap. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Come on, Karen. You know, this is where you fuck yourself. This is how you fuck yourself. This is how you fuck yourself. And here's the thing. We know they're coming in because the prosecution has filed they have other motions pending. And this isn't a motion, it's a notice. So this is one of the other things from Hank Brennan, who he's got the personality of drywall too, but at least he's competent. The Commonwealth's motion for notice of any visual aids, potential exhibits, or potential chalks. And guys, chalks are like, they might throw up like a big printed up thing on an easel. So that's what a chalk is, you know, because it used to be like a chalkboard they would put up and it'd be on the easel and you draw on it or do whatever. So that's what they're talking about there. That's what a chalk is. All right, there we go. So anyways, the Commonwealth notifies the court and intends to introduce recorded statements of the defendant in its opening statement. This is different. They are doing it a different way. Hank Brennan is going forward with a different strategy. You know, in advance of the opening statements, and they're going to do this for a ruling on admissibility. Further, if allowed, the recording should be marked for identification so a complete record is made of all items shown to jurors during the trial. And additionally, the Commonwealth moves for an order that the defense identify in advance any visual aids of their own that they intend to use during the opening argument. And, submitted by Hank Brennan and Adam Lally and the Laura McLaughlin chick. But anyways, there you go, chat. Like, the gauntlet is being thrown down by Hank Brennan. He's fucking about this. He about it, chat. And here we go. This is going to be a different trial. Even though he's not the most energetic person, this trial is going to be far more energetic. It's going to be like like, you guys remember, we sat there and watched Lally just plodding along and we're like, oh my God, just kill me now. I can't take this anymore. And he just wasn't very good and it wasn't structured and it meandered. It's going to be a lot more, I think, moving. It's going to be a lot more captivating. Now, are they going to introduce it as evidence? They could still introduce things as evidence, but they're just acknowledging we are going to introduce these on opening or in our opening statements. And they just want to be able to make sure, look, Your Honor, this is not a issue of, there's any issues of, any potential issues that may be out there. So that's why they're asking. They are asking for that ahead of time. This is different. This is going to be a different setup for Karen Reed. And as I said, this is tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, a lot is going to happen. I will cover it tomorrow night. So here's where we are, guys. If they come out with the same strategy they did before, Karen Reed gets convicted. If Karen Reed focuses on the fact that like the car is nothing on John O'Keefe indicates he was hit by a car, the marks on his arm don't indicate getting hit by the glass, then she can win. But if they go down this road of, the Alberts and Colin Albert and Brian Higgins and Brian Albert beat the shit out of John O'Keefe and killed him and threw him out in the snow, she's going to get convicted and go to prison. They cannot worry about exonerating her. If they do, she's going to lose. She will lose. And here's the other big thing, though. If they put in her statements, if they put in Karen's statements and they introduce them, that creates a problem for Karen Reed because now they've heard from her. And Karen may have to, she may need to take the stand. Like legally under the Fifth Amendment, she doesn't have to. But if the jurors sit there and hear everything, they hear Karen Reed running her mouth for however long and however much they show, she might have to get her ass up there on the stand and testify. She might have to. She might have to explain things. What did you mean by this? What did you mean by that? It's going to be... I think Karen Reed, if she doesn't testify, she'll lose. I think Brennan does all this. I think Karen Reed's going to have to testify. SB Sellers saying, who would they have to introduce this stuff as evidence? Remember, it's Karen's statements. You don't need to lay foundation for those. Karen Reed said this. We know it's her. Now, if Karen's team once it says that's not her, they could challenge that. But I mean, there's literally her on interview. This is Karen Reed. This is a show about Karen Reed. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm reporter Bob. I'm interviewing Karen Reed. Karen Reed gonna have a bad day. So that all comes in. And if that's the case, she's gonna have to testify. Because there's gonna be an entire issue of they have not heard from her except these statements. And the jury's going to want to hear from her, probably. It all depends on how well the case is going. I mean, now Jim is saying, why would they do this if they were denied in the last trial? They weren't denied in the last trial from all this stuff. They weren't denied all this stuff. Most of why you didn't see this in the last trial is because Lally was a shitty prosecutor and a shitty trial attorney. And some of these things didn't exist. A lot of these interviews and stuff out there didn't exist prior to this trial. But some of it was out there for Lally to grab, and he didn't grab it because Lally's a shitty prosecutor. He's not a very good trial attorney. I mean, he's good at organizing stuff, but he is not the guy you want being first chair in a trial. Not at all. Could the defense blame this stuff on editing? I mean, maybe. But remember, the defense would say, is this an unedited copy? And remember, the Hank already asked for like a subpoena to get all that stuff. So they're getting all the unedited shit. And it's going to be he's probably going to show unedited stuff like the raw footage. Just to show, look, we're not editing it. You got to see the unedited footage. So it's going to be tougher. It's going to be tough for her. I mean, it worked out for Kyle Rittenhouse, but Kyle Rittenhouse had very good attorneys. And Kyle Rittenhouse was properly prepped. And Kyle Rittenhouse kept his shit together. Yeah, he cried and he had a PTSD attack. but he kept his shit wired-tight. I don't know, guys. Do you think Karen Reed's going to be able to keep her shit tight? I don't know. Is she going to keep it wired-tight? I don't know, man. What's that? No, 2.0 said she thinks she's getting cocky. So, yeah, it's not looking good, guys. I don't think Karen Reed has what it takes. Now, I'm happy to be wrong. But it's not I mean, because you've got all these things that are out there. There's so much stuff. I mean, you've got like this.
Answering his phone.
Out. She says she watched him go to the door, put his head inside, then nothing.
I texted him, I called him, and within minutes of him exiting my car is not answering his phone. Minutes. So
what happens next?
I left.
She drove home, fell
Answering his phone.
So there you go. That's part of it. I mean, but there's more.
I mean, I didn't think I hit him, but could I have clipped him? Could I have tagged him in the knee and incapacitated him? He didn't look mortally wounded as far as I could see, but could I have done something that knocked him out and in drunkenness and in the cold didn't come to again?
And this would have been the moment you dropped him off at the party.
Yeah, would have had to have been. I mean,
this was done before the first trial. This is done before the first trial. She's not screwed. She's saying, could I have done it? Maybe. But notice she's like, this is now where she's saying now, I 100% absolutely did not do it. This is an honest answer, guys. I actually like this answer. She's like, could I have done it? Sure, but I don't think I did. But yeah, this is far more honest than this rehearsed, I didn't do it, with her Botox smile, which I'm not going to make fun of her for how she looks, but it looks like she's got a bunch of Botox and it's all got her face all trimmed up, which doesn't help. So, hold on, chat. What the hell happened over here? So, there are plenty of retards on the jury that would take the opposite opinion here. Yeah, but it's a job well done says, wait, she found him? Yeah, they found him. Remember, Karen found John in the snow that morning later on, along with some other people, including Jen McCabe and others. They found John O'Keefe in the snow dying because he had been in the snow for hours on end already and basically was suffering from hypothermia. So, yeah, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. You just don't want to give, talking about, well, could I have done it? Maybe you don't want to ever hear those words coming out of your mouth. And you don't ever want a jury to hear those words coming out of your mouth. I mean, that's the point here. They wouldn't use it if they didn't think it was going to help them. And that's the thing, Adam. They wouldn't use them if they didn't think it was going to help them. Hank Brennan thinks this is going to help get her convicted. And I understand why he thinks that. It's very possible. It's very possible Karen Reed gets convicted out of this. Whether that's fair or not, she is the architect. She very well may be the architect of her own demise, which sucks for her, but that's why you don't do this shit. That's why you don't do this stuff. Yes, I hit him, Sean. Could I have hit him? I agree. But you don't want to introduce those words coming out of your mouth. Because now you're saying those words, and the jury's hearing you say those words. And then they could screw with you. So don't ever, that's why you don't say things. Because you don't want to give the prosecutor the ability to start using your own words against you. I am not talking about the most difficult things here, you guys. I am not talking about that. Why did her defense team tell her not to, though? Oh, they set this up. They set this up. This is part of their doing. Through Dateline, like they 100% set this up for her. So, Yeah. So just don't do shit like this. Don't do shit like this. Joe says, you look okay. You look super tired. No, I feel good. Do I look tired? Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel okay. I had like a little bit of a coughing spell last night because of my, you guys remembered Saturday, I was getting a little hoarse, my sinuses and everything. I spent all day sneezing Saturday, and then Sunday I was just coughing up phlegm, and yesterday I was just draining, like my nose was running like a faucet. So I'm a little like catching up to that, but overall, no, I feel good. I feel good. But yes, this PR strategy is just a disaster. Just a disaster. So I don't think it's good. My sound stuffed up. Sorry. didn't need you to do that. You look like a young fat get sad. You sure you aren't Jewish? I'm sure I am not. I'm sure I am not part of the tribe. I can assure you. That I'm not. So yes, this is the self-felting. This could be a self-felting strategy. And I don't know if this is going to work out for it, but the people that want to put her in prison forever seem to think this is something they can use. So, like I said, I think Karen Reed's actually behind the 8 ball here. I hope she's not. I think she's not guilty. I truly do. I truly think she's not guilty, but I just don't know how that's going to go for her. I don't see that based on how this stuff is set up. No, I did not celebrate Passover. Jesus. Okay, guys. All right. So, with that said, we'll do more Karen Reed tomorrow. I'll see if I can get anybody to come over and say hi while we're going. Kind of just do a little bit of like a getting ready for Karen Reed. What do people think is going to happen? What are their predictions? And I'll ask around for people and see if they can give me a prediction. So, yeah. Kidda says, you really stumbled trying to get that denial out. Oh no, you know too much. Chat, we gotta shut it down out there. Shut it down. Gabe, cut me off. Gabe's cut me off. So, we'll see. Introduce Kirsha to Karen Reed. I think she knows a little bit about it. Garrett says, build your fucking audience. What the hell do you mean? Huh? I'm confused. Kurt already said he thinks she will be convicted. Okay, I didn't hear that. So, am I going to get doxxed from the 3chan hack? No, because I'm not a Janny over on 4chan. I would never be a Janny on 4chan. I would never do that. Being officially a Janny somewhere, especially like on 4chan. I mean, I remember being on 4chan and like, back in like college and in high school, like 4chan back in like the real Wild West days. So, join 4chan, you said, yeah. So, anyways, did I get the stabbing videos? Well, I don't know. Somebody said they're going to send it to me, or put it in Discord or send it somewhere because I need it if it's out there. Let me see here because I'm going to check to see if anybody sent it to me. Because if you sent it, we'll take a look at it. Yeah, nobody sent it to me yet, so you guys aren't helping here. So we'll work on that, chat. Okay. Moving on. The cops had the videos. I know that, but they made it sound like a video got released or leaked, and it's like, ooh, buddy, wanted to see that. So, all right, guys. So moving forward, we are going to move on to the issues of AI that are going on, and this was something that came out recently. ChatGPT has been used by a lot of different people to do a lot of different things. Attorneys have started to use it too, and the problem is, even there's an app called Case Text, which will kind of do some AI work for you. But even there, that's a more legal oriented one. AI will hallucinate cases. AI will make things up out of thin air. Not only will they make up a case of Bob versus Sally, but it'll make up an entire fact pattern in Bob versus Sally. Like, it'll make up an entire story, put it in there, put in a bunch of facts. It'll make up it'll make up its own citations that go in there. And literally, it's like a fiction story, an entirely generated case. Like 100%, it will do that. And it's happening. It's happening because attorneys get lazy. They aren't checking. And yeah, part of the issue is AI writes a story you want, sure. The other problem is AI is not able to do truly complex things. Like these, you call them AI learning machines, whatever you want to call them. They can't handle super complex tasks. The other thing is too, if you tell it to put you together something, like a legal brief, it's going to scour the internet. It doesn't know what's good or bad. It's just hoovering all the data up. And now you're getting attorneys who, and it's one thing if this first came out and they tried it and they were wrong, but it's happening more and more now. There are so many attorneys using this stuff. And they're doing it in such a way. Yeah, they hallucinate. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they literally hallucinate cases. And there's two separate instances we're going to cover tonight of this happening. The first one's a little unique. So this is a case here. The first one here is kind of funny. It's kind of funny. This one is out of the state of Texas, and it's a Texas appellate court case. You're like, oh, okay, this seems pretty good. And this was accepted for the Court of Appeals in Texas. And it's an appeal from a judicial court proceeding in Texas. You're like, okay, that makes sense. Like, what is this about? Well, it's about some matters here. We're going to get to these. So you can see it was filed on the 16th. And from here, we're just going to see what this is about. As you get going here and keep going, you talk about the actual history of the case and the statement of the facts of the matter. So what is important here? The statement of the case, it is about summary judgment. Okay, well, what happened? So the case here is a company versus a guy who's the trustee for a trust. For a lady named Laura Jean Rochon. He's the trustee for another trust. He's also the trustee for a third trust. And he's also, all the people who are involved individually are the beneficiaries of the trust. So it's suing trusts, suing the entities, and also the beneficiaries. Now, that's all really important. Like that's really the big thing here. We don't need to know more about it than that. We don't need to know more about it than that. And some of you are thinking, we're not going over all 70 pages. But we do go on to a nice little stretch of the case here where some stuff happens. And we get to some cases here. So there are some issues about how you gift things. And is there consideration for a gift to be enforceable? Okay, so for example, this is a case the guy cited, a case called Gaston v. Monroe. And it looks like that looks like a citation. They're talking about constructive delivery. You can a gift to be valid even if you don't transfer the property. And that becomes an issue when you're dealing with trust and wills and intestate succession and people dying. Because traditionally, if I don't gift, if I write into the will, I give Kurt my collection of Dale Earnhardt plates. But before I die, I go to Nate and say, hey, Nate, you can have these plates. Kurt's left no recourse. But let's say I tell Nate, hey, Nate, I want to keep using these, but at some point I'm going to give them to you. Okay, but then I don't. And then I die. Kurt's like, well, they're mine because the will says I get them. And Nate's going to say, no, 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 Sean promised me. There's going to be all kinds of arguments. There's going to be all kinds of arguments. So we have one case here. This case. All right. They keep going. They keep going. And in the case here, this guy talks about the case. This woman expressed an intention to give a parcel of land to her niece, although there was no formal deed nor transfer of the property. Okay. So the court concluded it's got a whole holding, chat. And then it goes on here. He then, as part of good legal writing and brief writing, you incorporate exhibits and things from a deposition. So there's deposition testimony that gets included as he goes here. And they keep chugging through this. This is done properly. This is done properly. I forgot. Oh, there's another one we missed. We missed one of these. Sorry, chat. We got to go back up a couple of pages here. So there's another case here. Gifts are valid without recording consideration is illustrated in Macy's, Texas versus a D.A. Adams company. Okay. There's another case, Stevens v. Beard, that kind of reinforces all this. You're like, oh, wow, this guy's got a lot going on. I kind of like this. I kind of like what this guy has. And you're like, all right. This sounds pretty impressive. And then he gets on to this case here, the estate of Malpass versus Malpass. Okay, so it looks like it's cited. This one here, this is an entire thing that was created. This never existed. None of these 4 cases ever existed, chat. And he submitted this brief. He submitted this brief with these. So there you go. It 100% supports him, but he said, find me cases. It said, find me, basically he wanted, find me cases where someone orally promises a gift. There is an intent to transfer ownership, and then someone passes away before they could transfer title. He basically, I want these 3 prompts in my thing. Okay. Then literally, see, he's saying here, the court emphasized. Literally, the AI made up the entire thing that the court emphasized. The AI made the entire thing up. The entire thing has been made up. It's manufactured. It's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit, chat. And so what happened to this guy? Well, he kind of had a bad day. So it's the same case. And this was ordered on the 10th, so a couple days ago. And it says after reviewing the briefs, we note the appellant's May 16th brief cites the following cases, none of which could be located by the appellee or this court. Uh-oh, chat. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. It's one thing if you just happen to miscite something, and let's say, for example, let's say in here, this case here, this Macy's, Texas one. Let's say instead you put down 583 instead of 584. That happens sometimes. That's not that big a deal because, if I've ever had cases like that, I've had cases before where the prosecutor cites something or opposing counsel in a civil case, they cite something and I'm like, what the fuck? That's not a real case. Because you can literally copy and paste this little bit right here. I should be able to take that and put it into a legal search engine, even Google will at least tell me this case exists. Now, if I go into Westlaw or Lexis, it'll actually pop up if it's real. So if you're off by a number, you know what I do? Okay, maybe you meant 3. Okay, 583. Oh, maybe you meant 584, or maybe all these numbers got messed up. And if you mess it up, even then, if this is a real case, This alone will help you find it. If you have the caption, like the parties involved, you can still find it by using Macy's, Texas versus DA Adams Company. You should still be able to find it that way. So you have like option 1 and option 2 of looking for something. But they both didn't work. Stevens v. Beard is also apparently not found. And it is Gaston v. Monroe. And now there is the Mall Pass case. Now, what do? Well, So it says, additionally, the brief does not contain a certificate of compliance or a signature of the party or counsel who filed the brief. Now, let's go back to that part. Because, let's get all the way to the end. Because, when you submit a brief, you have to sign for it. So, you get to the end, there's a prayer. We want you to reverse the order granting summary judgment. Okay, cool. Certificate of service. Cool. Certificate of service is correct. But where is whoever signed it? Because it should be signed down here. Down here, there should be a signature. It'd be like, signed. You'd have it, like this is where you'd put this is where your signature would go. You're like it's pretty simple. Like signed Sean Martin. Here's my bar number. Here's my address. Here's my phone number, fax number, email, blah, 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 blah. You would all have that there. It's not there. That's a problem. Like that's a glaring issue. Although that's normally one you could be like, oh shit, I fix it. But now that you didn't do all the rest of this, that's not good. That's not good. So going back to this, though, the appellate court says we order the appellants to file with this court copies of the cases listed above and to supplement their brief. And this is not a big deal. Supplement their brief with a certificate of compliance and a signature party of the counsel who drafted the brief. Now, why do they, just normally doing that if you ever done it? I think I've done that once or twice. I submitted something and I forgot to copy and paste in a signature. But notice, why do they want this? They want this because they're going to say, who the fuck signed off on this? Because you're not responsible for it. So within 10 days of this court order, which means it'll come up soon. But you have to file with the court copies of the cases. So, ooh, buddy. Uh-oh. So, the attorneys better get disbarred. No, they won't get disbarred. Will they get grieved? Sure. Will they get sent for discipline? Probably. Yeah. Sweet Tooth says, were these signed under penalty of perjury? No, because you're, as an officer of the court, you're always basically presumed to be under oath. You have an ongoing obligation of candor before the court. That's why, for example, like I've been in cases where I'm a guardian ad litem, where I'm a guardian for like children's services case, or I'm a guardian in a divorce, and I have to testify. I don't get sworn in because I'm an officer of the court. Like in Ohio, you don't do that because you're presumed to be, under the penalty of perjury already and under an obligation to be truthful regardless. I'd still commit perjury because if I lied on the stand, I'm still lying under, as an oath as an officer of the court. But this guy's fucked. Whoever wrote this, you're fucked. Because these cases, they're written by a ghost. They're ghost cases. They don't exist. I mean, I'm sure I can ask ChatGPT to start writing one, and it'll give me an entirely different case than what we're looking at. So, yes, this is Eric July's fault. This is July's fault. But guys, lawyers keep their licenses for way worse things than this. But somebody's going to get in trouble. Somebody's going to get in trouble. So this is not a good look. Now, some of you guys had some questions here about this. Urbrask is saying, why would you just make shit up? It's not that they're making shit up. It's just when you type in, the search program, because you're saying, find me cases where X, Y, and Z happen and they back me up and support me. and it's going to give you stuff to support you. Now, in reality, when you go into a legal search engine, you're like, okay, well, am I dealing with specific law? Am I dealing with a specific type of rule? You'd click into that rule and then you'd start searching through there, but you're going to have to say like, I need cases. And, you have to do a lot of time. It takes time to do proper legal research. You've got to weed through the cases and find the good ones. And you got to find the gold. You got to pan for it. It's like those guys up in Alaska. The gold's not just sitting there. You got to pan for it, and you got to sluice out the gold as you're going. It doesn't work that easy. Well, this is the problem. This is the problem with that if you don't do it right. And these guys, they're just going to fuck themselves. You can't do it this way. Now, what happens? Lawyers get lazy. Lawyers look at this stuff and they go, yeah, this has got to be good. And they just send it out and they sign it and send out the door without even thinking. You're responsible for that. So it's not that they intentionally made these up, but people are cutting corners and they weren't double checking everything. I mean, that's the reality of it. Do I think they could have been like, fuck this? They probably like, oh, wait, wow, this is fake. Ah, fuck it. Send it anyway. I don't think they're going full send on that. I don't think they're doing that. They're not eating it. But they could. I mean, theoretically, it's possible. But the reality is more attorneys are getting lazy. There's a problem with boomer attorneys using AI, especially early on. In the past year and a half, most of the attorneys doing this stuff are some boomer attorneys, and they are causing all kinds of problems because they're just like, well, I trusted the dang burn internet, and the computer lied to me, Your Honor. They're still disciplined for it. You're responsible for what you put in your motions. That's why you don't do this stuff. It's why you don't do this stuff, chat. That's why you don't do it, man. It's never good. That's why you don't do this. That's why you don't do this. But yeah, it's yeah. Jefferson Post says, didn't Legal Bites want to do a search thingy? I don't know what she wanted to do, but I mean, the problem is it's like legal research is something that's going to be very hard to do. And like doing legal work is going to be something tough for AI and learning machines or whatever the hell you want to call them. It's one thing that's probably going to be one of the fewer things that won't get done right away. It's going to be too difficult. So, but yes, Jefferson, thank you for that super chat, by the way. Now, it gets funnier, though. There is a funny side to this where we're not going to have to worry about attorneys getting in trouble because there's somebody else who gets in trouble. And this one is something that you guys showed me last week. We talked about it on a Monday night. We never got a chance to get to it. But this is fucking hilarious. So this is in a court of appeals over in New York. I believe this is actually in New York City. And there's going to be an appellate case. And AI is involved in it. And it's, oh my God, it is so goddamn funny. Like this is going to be good, chat. You guys are going to laugh at this. So here we go.
Versus men. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll call you next.
So the judge says, hey, we're going to call your case next. Sorry. Another one's going forward.
DeWalt versus Mass Mutual is being called out of turn. And the appellant has submitted a video for his argument. Okay, we will hear that video now.
Now, this is kind of a unique thing, submitting a video for your argument. This is kind of weird. Like, I've never heard of this happening before. But I guess the idea is that the attorney could record something and submit it to the court. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because instead, just have the attorney appear, if there's some sort of issue, have him appear virtually. But instead, they're letting a video play. So here comes the video.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this, hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
I generated that.
I'm sorry?
I generated that. That is not a real person.
Okay, it would have been nice to know that when you made your application. You did not tell me that, sir. I received the application. And you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally in the past. You have gone to my clerk's office and held verbal conversations with our staff for over 30.
Now, I will tell you guys, this is a pro se litigant. His name is Jerome DeWald. And when you Google him, he is he's a special guy. He's a special guy. So, for example, this is Mr. DeWald. He's an AI consultant and general partner at GPT-3. So, he's involved in all kinds of stuff. But yes, he's a big AI shill. And one of the things he's pushing is this. Welcome to Pro Se Pro. Revolutionary legal self-representation. And it's yeah, I'm just, we're gonna leave this be. We're gonna leave this be. No, this guy's not a lawyer. He's an AI dude. He's an AI guy. This guy is not a lawyer. He's an AI consultant. So he goes on from here, and this is let's just keep going. So so here you go.
Minutes. Okay? I don't appreciate being misled. So either you are suffering from an ailment that prevents you from being able to articulate, or you don't. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business, sir. So if you are able to shut that off. If you want to have oral argument time, you may stand up and give it to me. You have 5 minutes.
Would have been really fun if he turned on his phone. It was like, oh, the AI is running right now. You were like, what? But here he goes. Here he goes. Now, before we get too far into this, this is all about a case where, what exactly is going on with this. This is involving some issues about arbitration and whether or not he clicked on a type of contract. You guys can look around in here if you want to. There are some issues about compelling arbitration. The guy is trying to claim that, there's like 2 different contracts. I signed contract B, and he's claimed the defendants are claiming, no, you signed contract A, and he clicked and accepted. So there's issues about what's going on, and that's what they're arguing about here. But we're going to actually get back to this so you guys understand. So here you go. Listen to him as he starts. Now, see, he put in an earbud, which I'm surprised the judge let him do. I'm surprised that they let him do that. Because if I'm the judge, I would have said, wait, is someone talking to you on that? How is that working? Why do you need that in your ear? Yes, if he was deaf, they would make accommodations. Yes. If he had a problem speaking, they would make accommodations. But he has none of those. She said, you've talked to me for over a half hour before. I don't know if she noticed that he put something in. But it doesn't I would have been concerned about that. Because what's he doing with that in his ear? Is someone talking to him? But yes, the AI sub sit. Oh my God. The AI sub sit videos. They're going to have case law upon case law and court cases on court cases. Ooh. JL says he pissed her off, so now he's going to lose. He's going to lose anyway. Yes, he's got his stuff saved on his phone, but why did he have to put in an earbud? You don't need to. So, as it appears, he's literally generating his chat GPT answer. I think he is too. But you'd say it's your hearing aid, sure. But he hasn't said any of that so far. So he can't read. So anyways, here we go. Here we go.
Right here, okay.
I think he's like, come on, come on, come on, help me.
Your time has started.
May it please the court. My opponent's entire argument relies on a fiction that I somehow agreed to an arbitration clause that was buried deep in a contract. The facts and the law both reveal why this is not true.
Can you please raise the right to you? Okay, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure that's talking. It's giving him what to say in his ear. He's having to stop it and scroll it back to the right spot. That's what I think he's doing. It rolled to the wrong spot and he's got to stop it and start it.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se. My opponent is a principal in one of the America's largest attorney firms, and his client is a very large insurance company. The question before you is like unraveling a shell game. Which cup is the bean under? Is it contract A, contract B, or contract C? We start with B and under contract B. We all agree the bean was there in the beginning. It has no arbitration clause. Next, an automated system called FieldNet shuffles the cups. My opponent would like you believe
FieldNet, it's like the farmer version of Skynet.
that the controlling contract ends up under contract A, where there's an arbitration clause. But did it really get there? That's the question before this court. 3 critical facts distinguish this case. First, I began working for MassMutual under a fully executed B contract that contained no arbitration clause. This was a complete binding agreement that MassMutual now attempts to dismiss as merely a receipt of policies, a clear mischaracterization designed to facilitate their bait and switch. Second, I explicitly refused to falsely represent that I had never been convicted.
Okay, real quick, chat. Nobody, look at this. She wants to kill him. She's like, oh my God, I want to go on a smoke break. She's like, I was already reading ahead. This lady's like, I hope my kids have got my fucking kids got soccer tonight. And he's just like, well, I don't know. He's like, I hope I can finish my hentai comic book soon. He's sketching it out. Like, these people are like, the judges, like, you're in a panel like this, you're toast anyway. And he's pro se, he's toast anyway, but
of a felony, as required by paragraph 4 of the A contract. The record conclusively shows my truthful yes answers to the felony questions in FieldNet. Third, after my rejection, someone or something changed those answers without my knowledge, then checked I accept on my behalf and submitted the application. This fact is absolutely undisputed, but my opponent continues to ignore it throughout his pleadings and will likely do so today. This issue alone begs remand for discovery. The lower court's misapplication of Flores rests on 4 fundamental errors. First, for the proposition that signatures are not required when there's objective evidence of intent to be bound. Here, the evidence shows the opposite. My explicit rejection of paragraph 4 and ongoing performance under the B contract demonstrates I did not intend to be bound by the A contract. Moreover, it's important to note that had my answers not been changed, management wouldn't have accepted it. So there's no way that the bean can be under cup A. Second, unlike Flores, which involves sophisticated commercial parties of equal power, this case involves complete novices with 0 industry experience. Mass Mutual's attempt to characterize our valid B contract as merely a receipt of policies reveals their strategy. Lure inexperienced recruits in the door on one set of terms and then unilaterally post arbitration later. Third, the constitutional implications of waiving trial rights through arbitration demand a higher scrutiny beyond the mere indemnification provision in Flores. Fourth, compelling arbitration, in this case, contravenes the public interest. When corporate tactics stay hidden in arbitration, they eventually lead to Mangionis and national headlines. The public has a limited interest.
I love how he does that. Shout out to Luigi Mangione. He's talking about when the corporation do this, people put in work, Your Honor. And I'm looking right at you when I say that. Things happen. People get like, you know, there's one. It's one thing to be an edgy boy or, you know, Fed post on the internet. It's one thing to do that. It's one thing to Fed post when you're amongst friends, do it at a protest, do it to a reporter. But the one place I've never been brave enough to Fed post is in a courtroom. And he's doing it 100% seriously, too. I will say he may be an idiot, but he's got bigger balls than I ever hoped to have. But that's also probably why he's an idiot. He doesn't realize what he's doing.
Interest in seeing how contracts are formed, altered, and enforced, particularly when heavily regulated financial institutions like Mass Mutual are involved. These institutions control trillions of dollars of public money and operate under special regulatory privileges. Private arbitration of these issues shields important legal questions like misclassifications of employees from proper judicial scrutiny.
You'll have time on rebuttal. Thank you.
It felt like she gave him more than 5 minutes, but yeah. Now, chat, do you want to hear what this guy says? Or do you just want to go to where this guy picks up with? Because we could do either or. If you really want to listen to this guy, I'll let you listen to him. If you just want to hear an entire oral argument here. It did feel like an attorney because this guy was an idiot. And that doesn't help. It doesn't help. So we'll skip him. Does he roast him? Not really. But we're just going to go through it. We're just going to go through it here, chat. You guys are going to get the rule of completeness.
You may proceed.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
We'll compare and contrast professional versus amateur.
May it please the court. I'm going to just address a few points because I do believe our papers really do address many of the allegations.
Was it possible to accept just the B contract?
No, and in fact,
notice they're actually asking him questions. They didn't bother asking the crazy guy questions.
On page R29, by respondent's own submission, it states, quote, unquote, and actually even emphasized in the submission that it was required for anyone to perform services for the agency to complete both the upfront contract and the A contract. That is from the motion papers that
We're not doing
appellant submitted on his own. And so there's no dispute by either party that both the upfront contract and the A contract were both required in order to perform services for
If
the
I
entity.
understand the
Right,
record
Walter.
correctly, your adversary sought assistance in completing this application process.
He did it himself.
And sought the help of the very person who helped him complete the process, correct?
That is correct.
And the evidence with respect to how that application was being put into the computer showed that your adversary attempted to hit submit on several occasions in contravention to his assertion that he never attempted to have that part of the contract admitted.
That is also correct.
I'd like to move to another area, the registration agreement.
Yes.
Now, certainly for that agreement, there was a box to say, I accept. It was checked. Yes?
Yes,
Okay. And so this registration agreement also had an arbitration clause.
that is also correct.
And so there's no doubt. Well, let me say it this way. There's no, let me find the right word. There's no dispute that plaintiff signed that registration agreement where he agreed to all of the terms, including the arbitration.
Correct. And for clarification, the registration only agreement comes into play once there is an attempt to sell the FINRA securities, backed securities. So that's not one of the onboarding initial requirements
Oh,
of
I
the
know.
contract, but yet both the A contract and the registration only contracts with requirements for arbitration do cover the entire scope of services that are being performed by any agent.
You can continue.
I actually, those were the main points that I really wanted to address, especially the fact that both parties do say that the A contract is required. With respect to the attack on the constitutionality and public policy grounds, unless the court.
That is just oof. The guy's like, actually, I'm good. I'm done. He's like, I don't really know what else to talk about. And yes, you guys are saying she sounds like Nate the lawyer. What's like, black people they have their own New York accent. So yes, her and Nate the lawyer speak similarly. But yes, this guy's like, I'm already done. There's nothing else I want to talk about anymore. You're like, huh? Well, let's see what he does.
Has questions about that, I feel that we do not need to address those. I think there's longstanding principles in favor of arbitration. And I think really the facts on page R's 120 to 123 really do show that there was a manifest intent for the parties to be bound by the contracts, whether or not there's a dispute of it being signed. So as you said, you have a very busy docket today. I'm fine for resting on the papers for the rest of our submissions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Counsel, you have a,
That rarely ever happens. You like just giving up your time like that. He's like, I got this in the bag. Quit while you're ahead. He's like, this retard ain't gonna stop me. He ain't gonna win. So he's just like, I'm done. Now I'm done. What movie's that from? The guy's like, now I'm done.
a minute.
Whatever I am.
He's firing up his ChatGPT program again. And you can see right here, his earbuds in. He's got his fucking speaking to him. What a pudwhacker. What a pudwhacker.
May it please the court. The registration only contract would be under Cup C. And that contract concerns SEC work. I never worked under that contract. So I don't see how that contract comes into play at all. Can you hear me?
Yes?
So
They aren't asking questions. It's like, can you hear me? No, it's just they don't want to deal with your ass. They're mad at you. They like this is not luck. This is not a good look. This is not a good look to be in front of a court like this.
a BB, although it is not a controlling case, I think gives this court some guidance with respect to contract alteration, as the lower court seems to be relying on the A contract to find consent to arbitrate. Here in the BB, there was an allegation that the contract had the electronic process had flaws in it. Here, we clearly see that the electronic system had problems with it. I never claimed that I did not have felony convictions. I put those in the record. They came back in the signed contract with no answers. I don't know where.
So he's like, I told them I was a felon. It's like, okay.
Where those no answers came from.
All right, thank you.
So he's a felon on top of that. That's
HSBC
great.
Bank versus
He's
Mint.
like, I had all these felonies. Like, trust me, I didn't lie about it, although they're not there. It's like, okay.
May proceed.
No, I feel bad for this guy because he comes up there and he's got to argue, and he's just like, You know, all he did was make her super angry. She's super angry right now. And like that guy just pissed her off. That guy sitting here just pissed off the judge. And like that's never fun. That's never good. Like come on now. Dude is just being scummy about it. So, well, reformed convict saying a felonious brother hopes he wins. I don't know, man. This guy seems like he doesn't really have much on, or it still seems like he's doing the hustle. Like, I don't buy his story, especially the way he tried to sneak that stuff past. But I understand. I can understand. It's good to see you, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Oh, but yeah, imagine that. You're like, I've been that guy before. You're getting ready to go, and some dude just, you're sitting there like this happened last week. I had a court hearing. It was only a pre-trial, thank God. But the guy just I can hear the judge hollering at the dude. And I'm like, oh God, he's going to be like, I'm just like, I just got on the case. I need some time. It's like they've already had like 2 pre-trials and I got hired. So it's like this guy had public defender and his family scraped together the money. And they're like, well, we want you to represent him. And I'm like, okay. And judge is in there hollering up a storm. And I'm like, now I got to go in there. And I see the guy come out and he's sitting down in the hallway outside the courtroom. And I'm just like, thanks a lot, you fucking asshole. In my head, I'm like, you just made it harder for me. Good job. Going to court, though. The judge's like, oh, Mr. Martin, how are you doing today? And I'm like, Judge, doing great. How are you? How about them Indians? It's getting good weather out there. And you're like, yep. And they're like, oh, you're like, he was pretty chill. But I've also had days where you walk in there, you're like, Judge, how you doing? And they're like, fuck you. Everyone's going to prison today. Your Honor, we're here for a lawsuit. Everyone's going to prison. It's like, oh shit. So you can't do that. So is this guy talking on his ass on behalf of Chat GPT? Yes. 100%. So I'm the real deal felon charged and convicted. Yes. But who knows what he did? Yeah, Judge Ralph. I sent it to you. It is you who are guilty. Oh, that'd be great. Yes, give him the old ball buster. Yeah. But no, it's been rough. It's rough when that happens. Yeah, the judge is a hollering. No, I'm like, seriously, I could hear him yelling at the guy because he had a probation violation and he's being a lazy piece of shit. But I knew things this guy didn't know. I knew the county jail was overflowing right now. And because I had a client who had to turn themselves in for a case. And on Friday, the jail's like, no room here. Actually, it was the Friday before. So 2 Fridays ago now. They said, sorry, we can't take you now. And my guy called me. He's all panicked. Like, what do we do? I'm like, I'll call the prosecutor, call the judge. We'll figure it out. So I called him on Monday because it was already like 4:00. But I emailed them. And the judge actually emailed us like 5:30. It's like, don't worry about it. We'll figure something else out. We'll pick a new day. So I'm sitting there and it's like Tuesday. And this guy, the judge is fucking hollering. And I'm like, fuck. And yeah, I'm like, well, on the positive side, this guy's not going to jail, but I don't think he knows that. And he came out and looked like, he came out with like the look on his face like, oh no. Oh, but yeah, it was rough. Yes, commit petty crimes when the jail is full. That's true. It does happen. And every once in a while, it does happen once in a while though, guys, where you'll do, one of the counties, well, sometimes the counties I'm in, for example, when I was in Toledo for a while, the city of Toledo threw in money for a regional jail because all the rural counties around Toledo couldn't afford their own jail. So they pooled their money together and made a big jail, a regional jail. Well, it became a problem because everybody's got their share of the jail and everybody has to kick into the pot. Well, the city of Toledo's like, they're like, so, funny story, guys. We don't have any money, so fuck off. We're not paying. And all the other counties are like, yeah, that ain't working. And they basically shut the jail down. And they kept only like basically people who committed murder in the jail. And they basically forced the city, and that then overflowed the jail in Toledo, which basically kind of collapsed everything. It's kind of like the whole immigration issue. You know, they were using people as weapons. So it does happen. It does happen. And every once in a while, you'll have a situation where the sheriff gets into a fight with the judges. And remember, they're separate but co-equal branches of government. A sheriff in Ohio is elected and judges are elected. So they're all elected officials. They're in charge of themselves. And every once in a while, the prosecutors get involved in some of these. So now you have like judicial and, you know, you have the prosecutor, the sheriff, and the judges all fighting, and things grind down to a halt. It does happen. It does happen. You're glad to see me feeling better. Thank you. Yes. A super jail, if you will. Yeah, it made sense though, because it costs a lot of money to have a jail. You like, especially nowadays, you have to have special. You have to account for standards. There has to be, you have to have plumbing facilities. You have to be able to take care of people to certain legal standards. There's a lot involved. Like, there's one of the jails out here in Northeast Ohio. One of the cities has a jail, and if you're in jail, you know what you get. Like, you might be there for a while before you get shipped to the county jail, and while you're there, you get fucking Stouffer's meals. Like, they have a big old freezer, and when it's feeding time, they pop in a bunch of fucking microwave meals, and that's what your 3 squares a day are. Your 3 hots are, lean cuisines, and then you get like a juice box. Those are your 3 hots and a cot. And people are like, if they've been there longer than a day, they hate their fucking life. Hold on. What's that? No, it's because they're cheap, and it's cheaper than like making food. Yes, and it's cheaper than making food, sweetheart. I love you, mon chéri. But yes, it's cheaper than having a kitchen and kitchen staff and having guys run around food carts and ordering all the food. Because even though prison food is shitty and cheap, it's even cheaper to get a deal on like bulk buying frozen meals and cooking them up and serving them. There are some jails around here where like they don't usually have people in custody because normally they get sent to the county jail, especially out here in the Cleveland area, where like if you get caught and you're sitting in jail, they're pretty quick about getting you. Either you get out on bond or you get sent to county. Like guys, like I had a guy there was like 3 days, like he got Subway for lunch for like 3 days, and they're like, okay, man, like we're gonna get Subway. What do you want to eat? And he got like different food every day. Like it all depends where you're at, but generally speaking, jails are weird like that. Jails are definitely weird. Trump 1 says Toledo is an old shithole town, tough town. Yes, it is. It's a co-op jail. Is that where Vosh runs it? Oh. Reform says they just put you in the canoe beds on the floor where I live. Well, there are jails, especially I'll tell you, Lucas County, Ohio. They do that. The booking cells are just covered with those every night. The plastic dog beds, and they still don't have room. Like jail overcrowding is a big issue in a lot of places. So, are we learning about jail economics and the trafficking of prisoners? Yes. Ludomus says in Findlay, that's in Hancock County. I know. I practiced down in Findlay I had a cup of coffee down there once or twice. Said we had the juvenile detention center was full. Your guys' detention center for juveniles is full? You're Findlay. It's like frickin' McWhitersville down there. How many juvenile delinquents did you guys have that you actually had to jail? It was full and the funding ran out, so you had a bunch of hoodlums out there committing crimes. Oof. Oof. Yeah. Yes, Sticks Hexenhammer, guys, is going to trial on the 22nd. So it should be interesting. It's not Swanson's. No, they're Stouffer's because there's a Nestle has one of their factories where they make a lot of the frozen meals here. But also, I think that's how that worked out. At Juvie, they get kid cuisines. Actually, no. Hold on, what? It's a home office for Stouffer's? Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, so apparently that's their home office is here in Cleveland. So, at Juvie they get kid cuisine. No, but I will say when I was in law school, I did a clinic where you got to go work in a county, and for part of the summer you were in the prosecutor's office, and then the other part of the summer you worked at the public defender's office. So you did both. And I got to tour the jail, the juvenile jail, and it was funny because you walk through it and you're like, it looks like a school, like for kids. They have like posters and all that stuff, like that little kids would have in their rooms. And he's like, well, remember when kids are here, we have to like educate them and stuff. And I was like, that makes sense. And then I saw a thing on the wall and it was like a bunch of stars that they were earning. And I'm like, oh, what happens if they meet their goal? He's like, they get a pizza party. And the guy running the jail is this big dude. He was super nice, took great care of the kids. It was all about helping and rehabilitating kids. But he's just big, like this dude was jacked. And I'm like, they get pizza parties? He's like, it wasn't my idea. And I'm like, I'm not laughing, but I'm like, that's kind of funny. You get a pizza party in jail if you're a kid. So it was very funny. Very, very funny. Yeah, Nestle's down the road and gives a huge discount off it says the jail there's seconds. Okay, well, thank you, 2.0. Oh. Subway is prison food, I knew it. Siri says, here's some of the prisoners are held in the casino. Interesting. That's interesting. Sweet Bovine says, Sean, are you going to cover Styx's trial? I don't think it's going to be televised, but yeah, if there's information out there, I definitely would like to cover it. But none of that stuff is available online. So I'm going to see if somebody goes down there, they can tell me what happened. Let me see here. It's not going to be televised. I died a little when I found out the prisoners get sandwiches. Yeah. Pepsi Man says, did you see Megan Fox, the writer, the reporter, she wrote a letter to the judge for Nick's hearing? I mean, people do. Like, you can write letters of support for people. That's not uncommon. Friends, family, that's it is it going to change it all the way? No. But it's kind of one of those deals where I've said it before, guys, it's kind of like when you're in college and your professor says class participation isn't mandatory, but if you do it enough and you're like on the edge of a grade and you're up to like an 89, he says, and you participate a lot, I'll bump you up to the 90. That's like, it's not going to be determinative, but generally it won't hurt. And this is not one of those types of cases where it's not going to hurt. If this had been I've seen it before though, where somebody in the community, they get charged with like child molestation or something, and all the people in the community that support him come out, and all you end up doing is pissing the judge the fuck off. So, no, he's a good guy, Your Honor. It's like, and the judge is like, he cornholed a bunch of little kids. That's the times where it doesn't matter. This is actually a good case where, people coming in to speak on his behalf or writing letters on his behalf, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. HIV1 says that actually happens. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if it's like a priest or a teacher, depending on the situation, a longstanding member in a community, like a well-known person in the community, that does happen. Not so much I think in public, it's kind of happening less and less. But I remember when I first started, that was still happening. I think as more and more public eyes are on things and public shaming is a thing, everybody's going to be kind of like, you're on your own, brother. Good luck. I'll send you commissary. It's like, will you come and speak for me? No. So, So that's kind of where, like I said, it actually makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense in this situation. It can't hurt. Can it help? Sure. Is it going to? Probably not, but it can't hurt things. All right, guys. So catching up on what happened from earlier tonight, Unhung Hero gifting 10 subs, chat. That's right. 10 subs.
See this? That means not welcome.
That said, chat, if you're a gray out there, I love you guys too. We do it all as a joke. It's all joke. It's all in jest. If you're a gray out there, chat, we love you. I don't know about everybody else, but at least I do. I appreciate all of you that are here. I appreciate you, whatever you are in this community. I like to think we're a big family. Like, Juggalo's like family. If you just sit here and lurk, I appreciate that. If you just I appreciate that. If you subscribe, I appreciate that. If you comment, I appreciate that. If you're a member, I appreciate that. If you super chat, I appreciate that too. All those things, everybody's doing their part. Everyone does their part. And, like I said, it's never about, if you can't afford it, then that's okay too. If you don't want to do it, that's okay too. You're like, I like you, Sean, but I still think you're cringe enough. I'm not going to give you money. Fair enough. I get it. So, wait, what are we talking about? You can never hate me more than I hate myself, Sean. Yes. Oh, what are you guys? Are you guys? Oh, you're talking about the kosher Subway that's in Beach. Yeah, there's a kosher Subway at a I think it's at the Holocaust museum thing they have here. There's a large Jewish community in Beechwood, and they have it's a Holocaust museum or Jewish something or another type of museum. Oh, okay. Well, what is it? What do they do there? Is it like a synagogue or what? So it's like they have a Subway in their JCC? Okay, that's actually kind of cool if you had a restaurant on your YMCA. The JCC, Jewish Community Center, it's the Jewish version of the YMCA. Yeah, they have a kosher Subway, and it's that's interesting. That's interesting. So 2.0 told me about that. Yes, you said feet pics, yes. If you send Sean spiders, he will not appreciate you. Goddamn right. Do not send me spiders. Do not send me spiders. Let's see here. Pepsi Man says, if you're a brokey, just say so. No, that's not what I'm saying. Jeez. How is Subway kosher? I think you can make it kosher. Does the Subway, do their bread ovens have wooden doors? No, I don't know. I think they have metal doors on their bread oven at Subway. Because there's no cold cut trio. That's correct. There's no cold cut trio. There's no, well, you can't have milk and meat together like that. I don't think it works. So they have a Subway in a synagogue or something over there. Yeah. They hit you over the head with the bad math and very few toppings. Oh. So, does the Subway cheat you out of your money? You guys are awful. You guys are awful. Yes, there are kosher delis. That is a thing. And those aren't bad. If you like a good Reuben, it's actually pretty good. So, the 11-inch foot long, is that because they cut the foreskin off? Oh. Brandon says, do you have to work your way out? Oof. So, all right, guys, we're going to keep moving here. Green Caps met the goal for $4.99, chat. And we just had a simple goal tonight. One $5 chat, and the goal will be met. But chat, that's important because we keep meeting the goal. That's always important. We need to start a streak of how many nights we met the goal. We need to take down Ralph and the Steel Toe Morning Show. We need to become the king of meeting the goals. Take on Phil and everybody. Philosophy Bag's been a member for 15 months, says, nah. Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it. STP says, Andrea Burkhart covered this already. With the state's witnesses, just kill me now. Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I know Andrea's covering the hearing tomorrow. I assume Emily Baker's probably covering it too. So there'll probably be other people. I'm pretty sure Kurt's probably going to cover it. Like I said, I'll be covering it later in the afternoon, guys, because I got shit to do in the morning, and we can all watch it later. Ag says, what's Mark's ethical issues here, though? There aren't really ethical issues for Mark Bedro when Karen Reed was on that stream. But I would argue if you were like trying to get on her team, you should be like, should you really fucking be on here fucking doing this right now? That's the thing. I mean, if you guys remember when I did the when I went on that stream with the crazy guy where him and his wife attacked the lady in the store over mask issues. And the guy kept talking, and I said, look, man, I'm not your attorney, but I feel I have an ethical duty as a defense attorney to tell you, you shouldn't talk about this. And he kept talking about how he punched her and they kicked her ass for things. So it's the one where I'm going like this the whole time. It's God, that years ago now. But I'd argue I have a bit of an obligation, I think, to help make sure people don't snitch on themselves and tell on themselves. If I can help it. Jefferson Post says for 7 months, says it could only be worse if she was driving in reverse, talking about Karen. Yeah, that would yeah, I kind of wonder what snappy lines we're gonna get in this one, but thank you for being here. I appreciate the support. Michael Boyle says John O'Keefe also wound up in a dead zone. But Jefferson Post says, why do Karen and her team keep burden shifting? I think because they want to be flashy and dashy, and this idea that it's a frame. It's not only a murder, like somebody killed John O'Keefe, probably. I mean, could John O'Keefe have like slipped and fell and cracked his head? Maybe. You know, could he have done it inside the house and everybody panicked? Sure. Could he have slipped on the sidewalk and cracked his skull? Yeah, maybe too. But I think the reality is something happened to him. We just don't know what. That's sexy. That sells. That's flash dash. I think that's what they really want to do. Like, they've got their eyes on like the grand prize, not the prize of get Karen Reed acquitted or get another hung jury. Because if they get 2 hung juries, I don't think she gets retried a 3rd time. So I think it's because they've lost sight of their goal, and they're on to bigger and better things already. And it's like, no, you guys need to get the win. That's all you need to do. So, but once again, I'm not David Yannetti. I'm not Ellen Jackson. Karen Reed didn't hire my ass. So, you know, fuck do I know? Fuck do I know? Malcolm Combs is saying, was her defense team dropped on their heads as children? Well, I mean, say what you want, but Yannetti's brought home some big old dubs in his career. Alan Jackson has prosecuted some pretty tough cases. He's defended some really good cases. So these guys, you know, these guys have racked up their wins. Like, they're known. They're known for what they do. So they're not just some guy who, you know, they're not me. So, I mean, they have a strategy. I highly disagree with it, but, you know, they got a strategy. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Nick Kreuzer has been a member for 12 months. Thank you for being here, Nick. Says you can also have it accurately describe a phenomenon. Insist on the AI being incorrect, and AIs will hallucinate until it agrees with you. Interesting. That's an interesting thing. BobTube has been a member for 5 months. Thank you for being here, Bob. Thank you for supporting. Yes, imagine if a doctor showed AI saying, you have cancer. Oh, yeah, you have an AI doctor show up. It's like, hello, you have cancer. It's like, that's great. Leslie Sorensen says, thank you for the membership, whoever made that happen. Guys, if you do get memberships of people, thank you so much for your generosity and your support. Jefferson Post says that guy is like the villain in season 3 of Westworld. Yeah, he seems a little creepy. There was this Jebel Dunn's like, yep, he was vapor locked there for a minute. Little Miss says that guy was like an episode of Black Mirror, except it was like Kmart Black Mirror. I still need to watch Black Mirror. I haven't seen it yet. Apparently it's good. Apparently you guys out there like it. He should have ended his argument with fatal error, division by 0. Yes, that would have been funny. Brooks Euchre says, this guy wasn't Fed posting. He had an AI in his ear whispering the words to him. Real Fed posting comes from your heart of a convicted belief of dedication. That's right, Chet. You've got to feel it. Do you feel it inside you? Do you feel that Fed posting? You have to. You have to. Demons of Wrath is saying, isn't the New York Supreme Court not the highest court in the state? Correct. The Supreme Court in New York is the trial court. That first appellate division, that is the appellate courts, and the Court of Appeals is the highest court in New York. So the Court of Appeals is the functional equivalent of most states' Supreme Courts. So you were correct. Yes, the computer showed. Yes, that is very true. That is very, very true here, you guys. Hold on. Debbie O says, U.S. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Pulte has referred New York AG Letitia James to the DOJ for alleged mortgage fraud. Ooh, buddy. I hope so. Remember, chat, though, it's nothing ever happens o'clock. If it happens, great, but remember, chat, nothing ever happens, sadly. Eric Foam says, Yana, I take a cat. I have a cat to take care of in my shack. Oh. The Nick Croids are gifting 5 subs. That's right, chat. Nick's coming out there to do his part. Praying the gray away. Making America green again. Thank you, Nick, for your support and your generosity. Malcolm Combs says, been here a member for 12 months, says 11-inch. What do you mean a foot isn't 10 inches? Yeah. Hold on here. Hold on here. What did you send me? No, that's not why I want. My God. Now I know what you're talking about. Bushmaster says, did you see the jerk trying to cash his $32 million IRS check in Beaver Creek, Ohio? No. That's hilarious, though. That's man shows up with a government check and they don't want to cash it. I mean, come on. That's such bullshit. I mean, the IRS does that. The IRS does that. I applaud him, though. Trying to scam the government out of $30 million. That's great. Can you imagine he went to some gas station in the hood? He's like, yo, can I cash this check? And some Indian guy's like, no, I will not redeem, sir. It passes it back. It's like, how many gift cards is $32 million? Oh. Matty B is a member for 9 months. He says, here's to the local International Brotherhood of Greens. That's right, chat. The IBG, the International Brotherhood of Greens. If you are a member, you are in a union, whether you knew it or not. Local 127. Even though I'm just a gay Janny. I'm sure that's going to get clipped. But anyways, yes, Maddie. Yes, Maddie B is a gay Janny. All Jannies are gay. Sweep it up, Jannies. That's your job. Okay. That's a lot of KNUs. Yes, it is. Fool buddy. You could crash the market with those if you put them all out there. Gift cards is still sad and funny. Yes, it is, Siobhan. So, time to go PWR on the wrenches. Okay. Every time there's a gas station, they'll buy your counterfeit bills. That is true. There's always some place around you there's always some sketchy fucking place that will take funny money. And yeah, there's a place that does. There's always a place that does. There's also gas stations where funny money tends to like originate from too. It gets laundered out. So yeah. Reform Comics is once you go gay, you're always gay. Well, yeah. Yes, and PWR, yes, Pro Wrestling Review, Darkside Phil's biggest fan. No ass, no sex, and no jannies. Very true. Very true. What is this? Oh, I'll have to answer that later. It's not a shower text, chat. It's actually important stuff from one of my friends. Stephen Chung from the White House comms office just referred to Joe Biden as a dumbass on Twitter. I love the 47 administration. Really? He just did this? Let me see it here. Because this guy's hilarious if he did it. Let's see. Let's see here. Did he do it? I don't see it, chat. Where is it? Because I just brought his page up. He's not on here. Hold on. I mean, he says dumbass a lot, but not right now. So hold on here. Yeah, it's not going to work. I couldn't find it. I mean, he's not wrong, yes, but I did want to see it. 4chan's still down. Yeah, 4chan's out for a while. Drew says 20,000 IRS employees took the second offer for early retirement or severance pay. I don't know why you wouldn't take it. You, like, back in February, you got a free, we'll pay you until September. Go find a new job. It's like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, it's pretty fucking money, and you get full pay. Oh, Winston says that PWR broke away from Darkside Phil. He's now a Phil detractor at Phil banned him. Oh, no. That's some heel turn shit right there. That's some heel turn stuff. But anyways, Debbie, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Jefferson Post says, we've got hot dudes here. We've got hot dudes here to support this lifestyle brand against the Grays. Yes. There are 226 million Israeli posts on poll. Yeah, that's funny. I need to be up on PWR news. Well, I watched the casino for that. I watched the casino clips. You sent me the tweet here. Let me check. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, this is pretty funny. This is pretty funny, chat. I mean, just saying it's always nice. Just saying it is nice. Also, by the way, guys, the colors have stayed pretty consistent, right? You guys haven't been worried about me turning yellow and stuff. So nothing has changed as crooked Joe Biden continues to be clown himself, proving the whole world his feeble mind is in rapid decline to new lows with this incoherent speech. Total dumbass. Huh. Well, what did Joe Biden say? Let's
kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by.
Let's see here. Let's open this up. Let's see here. Let's get the sound boosted. All right.
And I'd never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time I was only going in 4th grade. And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by. And I had never seen.
Which is funny because Joe Biden was actually very in favor of keeping things segregated and was against integrating. But when Boston tried to integrate its busing, Joe Biden was like, no, we're not doing that. So very interesting. Very interesting. Talking about looking at all the colored kids like, Jesus, Joe. So like, apparently that's okay for him to say. So I don't know. So, let's see. Base Biden, yeah. Base Biden, very base. That was crazy. Where was this Biden? Yeah. This Biden, well, this was the 1990s Joe Biden, where he's like, I'm proudly making all these crimes death penalty capable. What was I watching? I don't even know. It moved on to like another thing, like an ad. So we need 1970s Joe Biden back. Oh. Kayla says, Ryder truck, Ryder truck, Ryder truck, Ryder truck. Yes. Yes. Oh. Yes, it sure is weird how the second and third Trump assassins have Ukrainian ties. I know it is. It very much is. And that's going to be something we'll cover on Thursday night. So, oh. I watch cis popping videos and don't share them with chat. Well, that's because you guys don't like watching them. I don't want to do that to you. Winston says, I love all the doctors, lawyers, and engineers who call into PWR streams announcing their occupations. He truly is a high echelon of classy streamer. I will say he's pretty quick on the quips. The guy's pretty quick on the draw. When people fuck with him, he's pretty good at turning it around. So I give him credit. Tower 7 had Ukrainian ties as well. Well, jeez. Don't tell me that. I already hate Ukraine enough. I don't need to hate him more. Oh. There's lots of proctologists in the PWR chat. Yeah. So, all right, guys, that is it for us tonight. We are we're kind of all caught up. We all caught up. Yes, there was a third assassin. Yes, some 17-year-old kid who was like adopted from Ukraine or something. I'm still trying to read up everything on it. He murdered his parents, stole their guns, and was gonna come out and make some kamikaze drones and try to kill Trump. So, yeah, that's actually a real thing. You called in saying you're a neurosurgeon and a lawyer. Yes, he just takes any and all callers, which is really good for him. Tenox says, I just got here. Well, I'm sorry, but if you rewind it, it's like we just started. So we're all set here, chat. We are gonna, like I said, Karen Reed is tomorrow. I'm gonna say we might be able, if depending on how long Karen Reed is actually, because I don't think it's gonna be a super long hearing. We'll probably do the Karen Reed hearing, and then we'll probably do some members only stuff. That's the tentative plan. If the Karen Reed shit goes forever, then no. The other thing is we will finish up the second interview of Richard Allen that got released. We will watch that this Saturday. We watched the first one, and it was just like, oh, Richard Allen just screwed himself. And we'll watch the second one. I think it'll be very good, and we'll react to it as it happens. But that will be this weekend. Let's see here. Give us your predictions on what nickname we'll use for you on his premiere stream. I don't know. He's already called me a big fat dummy, so I don't know what more. A big fat dummy couch. I don't know. It's probably like, I don't know. It's like Russell Greer now. You're a big fat dummy. It's like, okay. Is the next thing he's going to tell me like his dad can kick my dad's ass or something? So I don't know what he's going to do. The adopted kid thing is crazy. Yeah, the story of this Ukrainian kid is crazy. Oh, Slavs doing Slav stuff. How do I know? Isn't talking about Nate or Kurt? I'm pretty sure I know. I think we all know. I appreciate that. I appreciate the well, you don't really know who we meant to. Like, I appreciate the thought of that, but like, we know. Like, there's no beating around the bush there.
Let's be honest.
Like, you got to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. You can't be honest with yourself. You can't be honest with anyone else. So. He also called you a lawyer. That's pretty insulting. Well, it's better than calling me a blogger. Like, goddamn pastor saying, what we do is blogging. Like, I should drive all the way. When I go to Stoney's for the meetup, I'm going to find Pastor Mellon and I'll knock on his door and I'll just be like, that's for calling me a blogger, asshole. And then I'll go, like, the cops will stop me and they're like, why'd you punch this man? I'm like, he called me a blogger. The cops going to be like, he did? They're like, whoa. Yeah, sir, we understand. You have a nice night. Oh, it is blogging. Stop. Yes. But you are a blogger, Sean. It's like, stop. You're a Janny. You're not supposed to make it worse. Okay. Of course, the Saudi GP is on Easter. I know. I'm looking forward to that. And unlike last weekend, I won't be sick and we'll actually watch it. Would I rather be a blogger or a video essayist? Now you're making me choose. Like, blogger than a video essayist. So that's what I would rather do. A video essayist, Jesus. I'd rather sit here and try to staple my tongue to the roof of my mouth. Just going like the whole time. So, it's a good question, though. As long as you're not a journalist, I know. Them's fighting. Those are real fighting words. So, all right, chat. Like I said, we're all set. We will do the Karen Reed thing tomorrow. If we have time, we'll do members only. And then Thursday night, we got our Thursday night show. Friday, we have the nuke that got dropped on Russell Greer by Matthew Harden. Oh, buddy, Matthew Harden read his Sun Tzu, and he descended upon Russell Greer. He fell upon him like a lightning bolt. When it was time to attack, he attacked and struck hard. So we're going to go over that. We're going over that Friday night. We might have a double feature Friday night, though. I don't know yet. We're working on that. So Cody Rhodes versus the commie John Cena for the WWE Championship. Yes. Trump wants, are we going to do models tonight? Not tonight. I'm still kind of like, I need like one more night to get caught up. Like, I didn't sleep well last night with all this coughing stuff. Like, I'm getting to the point where, like, I don't hurt anymore. Like, my ribs aren't sore and my back doesn't hurt. Like, from sneezing, I can feel it in my back and shoulders. And from the coughing, I can feel it in my ribs. I just need like one more night and I should be good to go. And even 2.0 thinks my voice still sounds like shit. So I know today, one of the courtrooms I was in, the judge was like, are you okay? And I said, never felt better, Judge. And yeah, apparently I didn't sound very good. So I just need like one more night, chat. One more night. Oh God, I hate this when there's like a freaking, like when people are having a group text and they just start going back and forth and there's like 3 people or 4 people in the text and you're not currently in it, but they're all going back and forth and it just keeps lighting up and you're like, well, I don't fucking know what's going on. What the hell? So that part sucks. Feel better. Thank you. It's not COVID. I checked. I even straightened the inside of my nose with one of the thingies. The COVID test came back negative. My voice still sounds like shit. Well, thanks. Thank you. You lied to the court? No, I thought I felt fine. Yeah, just been drinking lots of water. The PRW army is here now. That's God. That's no. Okay. Well, and your secret server, maybe I don't want to be in your gay secret server. Did I finish the MiG? No. The MiG is primed up and we're going to get ready. I'm probably going to get that partially painted up, but like the cockpit's all done. Cockpit looks just mwah. I got a hold of some nice miniature brushes so I could do all the painting in the inside of it, the control panels. The cockpit looks amazing. It looks so good. It looks so hot, chat. You're just going to be like, oh my God. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's going to look great. The primer, I had to use like actual primer because the plastic of the model, because it's a 30-year-old model, was like just the stuff that was made out of didn't want to take paint unless it was lacquer-based paint. And I don't have lacquer-based paint, so I don't have any enamel paint. So I just had to hit it with primer, and it's good to go now. So don't smear the paint. No, the paint's good. We'll get it painted up, and we'll work on putting it together because it's ready to go. We'll work on that this weekend. We'll finish it up. Don't do a kiss motion when you mention cockpit. Well, I was like, mwah. Just like, sand it and it will take. Yeah, I did a little bit of sanding and it wasn't, it wasn't cooperating too well. Reformed. I mean, this is like it's literally 1986, 1987 manufacture. So the quality of like the plastic was just like, it's not very good. But we'll take a look at it. We'll get it finished up. Caleb says the cockpit like your mom's mouth. Well, it sounds like your mom's mouth from experience. Is that what everybody called it in the neighborhood? All right, chat. So we are, is it dry rotted? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I got it fixed. So chat, with that said, we are all done. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Like I said, it's going to be a Kieran Reed thing and then whatever else we have. If we have enough time, we will do members only, but we'll know that in advance because we'll know how long the Kieran Reed stuff's going. And I should be back to normal at that point. So remember, chat, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you're being Ricky Ritardo with the AI. And then, yeah, the courts are going to get really mad at you. And then you're screwed, man. You are screwed. Wouldn't want to be that guy if I were you. I wouldn't want to be that guy. So with that said, chat, I will see you guys tomorrow. And you guys take care. Let's see here. Who is live right now? I don't see who's on. No, I do see some stuff. I do see somebody live. Actually, no, I don't see anybody who's live right now. You guys got any recommendations on places you want to go? Because I don't see anything live. But anyways, we'll just go ahead for now. Good night, chat.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the